Hello and welcome to Just Vintage Crochet. Today we are going back to the 1970s and we're going to work some Tunisian crochet mittens. I'm going to show you how to make this mitten here. There are, if you want to, the pattern will be available and the pattern will include all three mittens. All three of them, well, two of them are based off of just one, and I'm going to show you how to work this stitch here. The instructions for this portion will be pretty similar to the instructions for this portion. This is pretty easy. It's a very good pattern laid out very well. The materials you will need. Okay, so this is not quite a number 4 worsted or Aran weight. It's a bit lighter than that. It is a light Aran weight or light number 4 worsted weight. It's not as thin as a sport weight. A sport weight will be too small. What you need is something between a sport weight and a number 4 worsted weight. Here I have a light number 4 worsted weight that worked up perfectly. Here is the mitten I made. Now you can see that they make them in just one color, this one here. But I decided to do a little color work and add color, and I'll show you how this looks on. It's very cute. So now you can see the whole thing. It's very, very cute, fits perfect. So this is absolutely the right size yarn. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just love that with the two tones. Okay. You'll need, it doesn't have to be a long one. In other words, it doesn't have to be some Tunisian hook very, very long. Just a short Tunisian hook. This one measures 10 inches, but actually you have about 9.5 inches of workable rod. That's all that you need for this. And this is a F5 3.75 millimeter hook. This is my vintage Susan Bates hook. And for those who were asking, because this was held up in the mail for like 10 days. I bought it on eBay. I was hoping it was a Quicksilver. This is a vintage Quicksilver Susan Bates hook. I am happy to say this is a Quicksilver hook. Quicksilver hooks, Tunisian hooks, are like dipped and baked enamel, and they are glass smooth, smoother than metal. And this one here is a little bit different. Remember I was saying in that one video, the font is different. As you can see, the font is different. So they were made in different years or different decades, and the font up here is different, but it is 100% a Susan Bates Quicksilver. I am so thrilled. It is a 6 millimeter. I have almost every single one. I'm telling you, if you've got a Susan Bates Quicksilver Tunisian hook, hold on to it for dear life, because these basically don't exist on the internet anywhere anymore. There's one eBay seller that's selling them, but they're selling every size I already have. Okay. Let's just get right into the mitten now. All that other visiting stuff out of the way. Forgot to mention, you're also going to need a traditional crochet hook, same size, 3.75 millimeter, and you will need a measuring tape, because this pattern doesn't direct you in rows, it directs you in inches. And if you want to make this for a child, I would say older than a toddler, so we're talking 6, 7, 8 to maybe about 10 or 11 years old, just bump down to a sport weight yarn and a 3 millimeter hook. You want your hook to be quite a bit smaller than the yarn, so maybe even a 2.75 millimeter hook. Okay, so we're going to start with a chain of 40. This video assumes you know how to do Tunisian crochet simple stitch. So there won't be a lot of instruction on that in this video. There are loads of videos. I even have a lot that really go into detail about how to do the Tunisian simple stitch. So just go ahead and cast on 40 stitches. And whenever you're done chaining, I said cast on 40 stitches. Can you tell I've been playing with knit a lot? Chain 40 stitches and go ahead and work one forward pass up and one return pass in simple Tunisian stitch, okay? Okay, 40 stitches, you know, I know that they made Quicksilver knitting needles, but they're not the same. They're not made with this kind of enamel. They're plastic, because I bought a set. I was highly disappointed. It would seem only the Tunisian hooks have this sort of glassy, maybe you can see, it's sort of glassy texture. It's smooth, it's slicker than metal. everything needs to be made in this. They need to go back to doing this. Maybe the cost was too high or something. That's why they stopped doing it. Yeah, Susan Bates made regular hooks, Quicksilver with the Quicksilver name, but they're not the same. These have a powdery finish. You can hear it. It's not the same. You can't even see the shine. If you look, where's the shine? Look at that glassy shine, and you don't get it on the regular hook. So if you have Quicksilver regular hooks and you're like, but mine doesn't feel like glass, that's because it's not coated in the same kind of enamel. Maybe it's coated in enamel, but it's not the same. This is just like glass. There has never been a better Tunisian hook made. I don't care. You spend $200 on a set made of wood or metal, they're not going to be as good as this. Ooh, I just caused some controversy there. I will die on that hill. So now we're going to complete row 1 of our simple Tunisian stitch. As you know, the row isn't complete if you can still see all the little holes through it. And when this pattern refers to work so many rows, on occasion it will say work 1 row here and 1 row there. It wants you to make sure that the row isn't complete until these holes are filled in. So row 1 is still not done, even though we just worked a forward pass and a return pass. We have to work 1 more forward pass to complete the row. Well, we're going to continue to work this simple Tunisian stitch until we have 2.5 inches worked. So as you'll see, whenever you yarn over and pull up on your loop, it pushes your top chain. Here is your top chain from working your return pass right here. It will push that down and fill in the hollows. Watch it in real time. Pull up, and it has filled in the hollows. See? That is how you know that row 1 is now complete. So work this until you have 2.5 rows complete. And on a hollow row, which means after you work your last return pass, come back, make sure that you have 2.5 rows of filled in work done. Okay, really easy. Gosh, I love these hooks. You know what? I'm going to leave a link in the description box down below to that eBay shop that is selling these hooks. Now, they don't have very many of them, I'm guessing. So we might just be buying them out here. But if you're ever looking for an authentic Susan Bates, let me get you one here. If you're ever looking for authentic Susan Bates Quicksilver Tunisian hooks, the packaging looks just like this. Now, these were all made prior to 1991. Here's a little Susan Bates education for you. These were made in Chester, Connecticut, USA. Well, the Chester, Connecticut plant shut down in 1991. So anything Susan Bates that says Chester, Connecticut on it, you can bet your bottom dollar it was made sometime in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, and on and on. So these were not made in the 90s. Here's what the short stick packaging looks like and the long stick. And here is what the regular crochet hook packaging looks like. And let's see here. This one was made in South Carolina, USA. So I don't know if this was made during the 90s. It probably was. So this is vintage, technically vintage, but it's not going to be as old as these. So that is the difference in the packaging. So now you can say 90s on up, pre-90s. And so, yeah, or if you're looking for just the individual hooks, make sure that they are silver and glossy. As you can see there, this one here was bought outside of a package. And it's okay if it looks like this. If the font looks like this, it's still authentic. Typically, the font on these Susan Bates hooks, though, will look like this if you find a seller selling it out of the packaging. Okay, I'm telling you, you're going to want to get your hands on these. Look at this. It's just the best. It's simply the best. Okay, I'll be back whenever I have 2.5 inches done. Okay, so I now have 2.5 inches, not counting this open work row. And here we go. So you'll put your tape measure just under that row And there it is, 2.5 inches. Now we're going to go ahead and start the thumb area. So let's work 20 simple Tunisian stitches across. Just like that. I will be right back. Okay, so that is 20 stitches picked up. Now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Skip 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the 8th stitch over, start picking up your stitches again. There we go. It can be a little awkward, but it's not so bad. Okay, and on the end there, work your return pass as usual, working right over the top of our skipped area here. That one stitch there is mighty stretched. That's okay. We're going to do a little bit of sewing at the end, but it's not even sewing. It's just sort of like a little bit of weaving, just a little bit to sort of anchor everything down in the thumb area. At the end, when we're done working the thumb, we're going to go ahead and sew this to here like that. So it will be fine. And I'll show you what that looks like. See, here is my chain 4 right here. You just sort of on the inside, so the wrong side out, you just sort of, whenever you go to rejoin your yarn here, just leave a really long tail so that you can sew this portion down right here where the 4 chains are. And it doesn't look bad. It looks quite nice. You can see it's a smooth, and it's really quite smooth. It's not that bad. Do a little sewing here as well. So it will all work out in the end. Okay, now we're going to work the simple Tunisian stitch over and over again until we have a total of 6 1/4 inches from here on up. So not an additional 6 1/4 inches, but a total of 6 1/4 inches. Okay, so just keep working your simple Tunisian stitch. Come back whenever you have your measurements. Now bear in mind, that's 6 1/4 inches of solid rows. You want to come back whenever you've worked your return pass. Did I work 2 stitches together there? I did. I have to go back and fix that. I'm glad I did that. Now I can go back and fix that. You want to leave it exactly how we did whenever we had 2.5 inches. So whenever you can measure from here, the solid row to the bottom, that's whenever you're done, then come on back, and I need to fix that. Just real quick, I thought I would come on here and show you how we work over this part here. This is actually your first stitch you need to work. Right here where this chain 4 comes up and is joined, that is a stitch you need to work. You can see how it lines up with all the other stitches. So go ahead and pull that one up. There you go. Okay. And that's how we work over the thumb hole area. Then it will just sort of work itself out. So this portion here will go a little faster because you have a bit less stitches to have to work into. And I will be back whenever we are at the measurements we need to be at. Okay, so now that I am at my 6 1/4 inches, not counting the open work at the top, we're going to start doing some decreases. So this is stitch number 1 in Tunisian crochet. this is always stitch number 1. So whenever you read patterns and they say go into the 3rd or 4th or 5th stitch, this counts as 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So with this, we're going to go into the 2nd and 3rd stitch at the same time and pull up. Now work 1 stitch into each of the next 2 and then decrease the next 2 stitches by going under them at the same time. Then work the next 2 stitches like regular and decrease the next 2 stitches. So work this all the way to the end. You should end with these 2 stitches here being decreased, and then you just work into your last stitch. So I will be right back. Okay, now the next row, our return pass is just like normal. So just yarn over and pull through 2, pull through 2, all the way to the end. Okay, now the next row, we're going to decrease the first 2 stitches together and then work 1 stitch. Decrease the next 2 stitches, work 1. Decrease the next 2. So this will be the repeat all the way to the end. Then just work your return pass as normal. Yarn over, pull through 1, then pull through 2, 2, 2, all the way to the end. Okay, now this next row, this is our final decrease row. It's our final row. And we're going to decrease the first 2 stitches together and work the next 2. 1, 2, like normal, and then decrease the next 2 together and work the next 2 like normal. So that's the pattern repeat all the way to the end. Decrease, 1, 2, decrease, and then we just work the last 2. We yarn over and we pull through all the way to the end and leave about an 18-inch long tail for sewing. And I'm going to show you a little trick I did with sewing the first one I made for both the thumb portion and this top portion here. Okay, first things first, we do need to fill in this space here. So we're going to have to bind off, and we're going to do that with some slip stitches. So, and it doesn't tell you to do this in the pattern. So go under the first loop and work a slip stitch. Each loop will get a slip stitch. And what that's going to do is take that return chain and push it down like a normal Tunisian stitch would. You there? It's filling in the empty gaps. Okay, last 2 stitches. Chain 1, leave a nice long tail for sewing. Okay, so my little tip for this is when you fold this together, you can see that your thread is right here. We need to sew the top and down the bottom, and we're going to do that with the wrong side facing. But before we make the wrong side facing, grab a darning needle and we're going to pull this thread. We're going to weave it under a few stitches and pull it to the halfway point, meaning when you fold it in half, we're going to weave our thread through to right here, so that this is our starting point so that we can close our work off. So from the right side of the work, because it won't really show, let's just go ahead and weave through to the halfway point. So I'll fold it in half so I know when to stop. And I'm going to stop right here. And you'll see, you won't really see it. See, it's not really noticeable in any way. Now I'm going to turn the work wrong side out and begin sewing everything shut. So I don't want to cinch it. There we go. Okay. And for this, I just do sort of a serpentine stitch. Of course, you can do whatever stitch you prefer. I'm going to go through both loops on both sides. And I'm just going to do a sort of a serpentine. So instead of going around, around, around like a whip stitch, I'm just going to go side to side, through and through. And you hit it whenever you're sewing your ends together of anything you're working on and it slips off the needle. It's annoying. Okay. And I'm not pulling too tight. I'm not keeping it loose, but I'm also not pulling it to where it cinches. We don't need that. You want a little flexibility in this because your hands are going to go in it. Okay, and then just making sure that I keep everything lined up down here. I just sort of match stitch for stitch. And I'm going to continue to work. Oh, what a mess. What have I gotten myself into here? There we go. I'm going to continue to work like this. I'm not 100% sure what this particular stitch is called in sewing, as I'm not a seamstress and I've never learned how to be one. I've never learned the terminology for the most part, outside of the basics like threading the needle, things of that nature. All right, I'll be back whenever I get this all sewn shut. Okay, now we're going to work the thumb portion. So starting with our 4 chains, let's just go into the first chain of the 4. And I'm going to leave a long tail so that I can sew with it. Okay. So draw up on that loop a little bit because that's your first stitch. Next stitch over, next chain over, draw up a loop. And in the next over, and in the 4th one over. Now this is going to get a little cumbersome at first for the first couple of rows, and then it's really, really easy. Okay. Now we need to go into this long loop right here that's being kind of stretched out. And then into the remaining loops that we skipped over. Here's where it gets a bit cumbersome. Nothing wants to bend quite right for you. And we need to get this one loop right here off to the side, right there. Then you yarn over and you pull through 1, just like normal, and pull through 2, just like a regular return pass. We won't be working any decreases on the thumb. We're just going to sew it up once we reach 2.5 inches. Now I added an extra row on mine because I almost never not wear long nails. Okay, and of course I got to give this a little tug because it's just sort of loose and stretched out. Now we go into the next loop over and we start working our regular simple Tunisian stitches over and over again until we have 2.5 inches in length. And once we reach the 2.5 inches, we will work a row of slip stitches to bind off, leave a long tail to sew the thumb portion shut, and then this tail right here we're going to use to sew all of this stuff here tighter. Adhere it, sort of, not adhere, secure. Secure it to the rest of the mitten. Yeah, these stitches are just a little hard to get into. Like I said, the first couple of rows are like this. That side stitch is quite a pill too. Just do your best with it. Pull through one, then keep going. Then the next stitch, the next row will be a lot easier, and every row after that will be a breeze. But it's the first couple of rows that are really quite cumbersome. There we go. It's a lot easier to get into that last stitch. And there we go. Okay, so I will be back whenever I have reached 2.5 inches in length. Okay, so just like with the top, I'm going to fold this in half and weave my thread to about right here before I turn it inside out, so that I'm starting at a center point. See, one more. There we go. Now I will turn everything inside out and make sure to bring this long tail along for the ride. Okay, now we are ready to sew this down. Just like before. So I'm going to go ahead and sew on this for just a bit. When I get down to the base of the thumb, I'll come back and show you what we're going to do down here. Okay, so worked my way down to the bottom. I'm just going to sew this portion here shut. Just like that. And then I will weave this in. Picking up a couple of these stitches along the way. I pick up a back stitch and come back up, and that usually does it for weaving in. Pretty good weave in without creating too much bulk. Give a little tug. Okay, that one's done. Now we'll pick up this tail and we will sew this closed here along this side. Pretty easy, right? Not so bad. So I'll just come over here, just pick up wherever it looks pretty good. You want to keep it like kind of neat and clean. And that's pretty good. That little thing right there don't matter too much. Okay, now I'll weave this in. Probably just come up the thumb. There we go. Then I will pick up a back loop and come back down. I want to make sure I don't go too far out, too far to the right side of the work. I don't want it to show. There we go. That's locked in. That's not going to go anywhere. Flip it right side out. Try it on. Now, the stitching on this side is going to show a little bit on the outside of the hand instead of on the underneath of the hand. The back of the hand, sorry. Come on, little thumb. There we go. And everything fits my long fingernails pretty good. There's my fingernail right there. So I gave myself an extra row. But you can see my one pet peeve with this design is this is how it looks on this hand. Looks pretty good. But on this hand, yeah, your seam will show, unfortunately, on the back side. It's okay. All right, now we're going to work on that really pretty decorative cuff area. With the right side facing, we're going to start at the seam. And we're going to work 39 single crochet all around. And we're going to actually work 2 rounds of 39 single crochet. Okay. So you'll just join chain 1, work your first single crochet, and then work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Again, we're looking for a total of 39. When you're done with this first round, join with a slip stitch to your first single crochet, chain 1, work a single crochet into that same joining stitch, and work another round. And then come on back. Okay, now we're going to start the color work. Of course, this is entirely optional. Okay, so we're going to work 1 single crochet into our joining stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, but complete this single crochet with the new color if you're going to color change. Let me get a little bit of a longer tail on that. There we go. And we will be carrying our work along in some rows and not in others. Okay, now we're going to work 4 chains, and I'm just going to say the color I'm using in the pink. And then the very next stitch over, so we're not skipping any stitches, we're going to join with a single crochet, but we're going to complete that single crochet with the white. So don't pull the pink through, pull the white through, just as you're seeing me do now, and carry that pink along. Now this single crochet here, we are going to work back into the next row, so try not to make it too tight. And then we work 3 more single crochet for a total of 4. Had to get that tail out of the way there. Okay. So this single crochet here is 1, and then this is 2. Three and 4, complete 4 with your new color, and make 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the very next stitch over, again not skipping any stitches, go into the stitch, hold your pink back, pick the white back up, and complete that single crochet with the white. And then work 3 more single crochet for a total of 4. 2, 3, I forgot to carry along my pink. I surely did. I left it back, didn't I? Okay, that's 2, 3, 4, complete with the pink. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into the very next stitch over, hold the pink back, pick up the white, complete that single crochet with the white. And of course, don't forget to carry along your secondary color. That makes 1 single crochet. We need 4. That's 2, 3, and 4, which we will complete with the pink. So continue to do this all around until you have a total. Here is my first. Here's how everything is going to look. It's going to look really pretty. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're looking for a grand total of 10 chain 4s. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera. I will be right back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very next stitch over. Hold back that pink. Complete it with the white. Carry the pink along. Make 3 more single crochet. I'll be right back. Okay, so we end this with the single crochet that joins the chain 4 and then a single crochet on the end. We're going to join with a slip stitch. Make sure that you include your secondary color in that slip stitch. Chain 1 to lock it all in. Next round, we're going to work a round of single crochet, so we do not need to carry the color along, but I'm going to show you how we're going to carry the color up on the rows we're not going to be using it. Okay, so we need to make a single crochet into our joining stitch, 1 into the next stitch over, and we also need to make sure to keep our chain 4 to the front because that's what creates these little like bobble stitches here. So our first single crochet on the other side of the chain is actually right here. This is the single crochet that we joined it back down into the work with. So we do need to work into that. And then we just sort of push the little chain out. Of course, you can pull all these little chains out at the end of the round, but they do need to live in the front of the work, just like that. So that's 1, 2, 3, and here's 4. Then on the other side of the chain right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then our next single crochet, which is going to be right here. And you can see it's worked into this stitch right here whenever I pull up on it. You can see it right there opening that stitch up. So that's our next stitch right there. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to work this all around. Join with a slip stitch. Here is your last 2 single crochets you need to work are right here. This one right here. And this one. And then join with the slip stitch and chain 1. Well, no, don't join yet because we're going to include our pink in the join. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. So just work your last 2 single crochet and then come on back. Okay, so let's go ahead and join and incorporate the pink into our join. So go into your first single crochet, take the pink and yarn over your hook with it and hold it there. Complete your slip stitch and a chain 1, and that will lock that pink into place. And then as we're going to work 3 rounds of just plain single crochet with no color change. So you're going to do that with each round. That way by the time we're ready to color change, it's worked in there nice and neat and clean. Okay, so we are going to work 3 rounds of just single crochet. Rounds 5, round 6, and round 7. So that was 1, there we go, So these are kind of easy rounds. Really, it's all pretty easy. It's just slightly cumbersome, you know, juggling two colors, but at the end, I feel like it's kind of worth it, you know? It's so pretty. It's a really lovely touch. And I think it's also very pretty with just one color. It really is quite nice looking. I'll show you a picture one more time to remind you what that looks like. There we go. This is the one we're working on right here. And it really does look quite lovely with that one color. It really is. This was the mitten that attracted me to this pattern. Okay, so I'm going to work my 3 rounds of single crochet. Rounds 5, 6, and 7, and then I will meet back up with you at the join. Okay, now we're going to change color again, or work with our color again. So actually, we will do this. Join with the pink. So the end of your round, go ahead and join with the slip stitch, hold the white back, and complete your slip stitch with the pink. And be sure to carry the white along. So let's go ahead and yarn over twice. Now you can see that there are 2 stitches right here. 1 and 2. Around this stitch, we're going to work a US treble crochet, a UK double treble. Okay, so let's go around that stitch and work your treble crochet. Now we're also not going to skip any stitches here. So the very next single crochet over, let's work, well actually I got that wrong already, didn't I? We need to complete our treble crochet with the white. So hang back the pink, complete the treble crochet with the white. Carry the pink along, and the next single crochet over, let's work 4 single crochet in a row. 1, 2, 3. The 4th one we're going to complete with the pink. So that's 4. Yarn over twice, and around that same single crochet that the other US treble is coming out of, work another one. Yarn over twice, and you'll note that above these little loops we have here, there are 2 stitches, this one here and this one here. With these trebles, we're always going to work around the first single crochet of these little loops. So let's go ahead and do that again. Complete this treble crochet with the white, so we'll hang back the pink. Complete it with the white, carry the pink along, and the very next single crochet over, you'll have to move your stitch to the side. Start working your 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one we're going to complete with the pink. Yarn over twice, and around that same stitch, let's work another treble. Yarn over twice, and again, remember, move the little bobble stitch down, and you will see a little gap in the middle with 2 single crochet. Here's like a little gap in the middle. This first single crochet is the one we're always going to work into. There we go. Complete this treble with the white if your color changing. Does seem a little fiddly, but the results could be worth it if you really like it. And then work your 4 single crochet, carrying your second color along. That's 2, 3, complete the 4th one with the pink. Yarn over twice and right back into that same stitch. And we're not working around the treble, we're working around the same single crochet that the first treble is worked into. Then yarn over twice and come over here, and you see that little gap in the middle with these 2 single crochet, always that first one right there. This one here gets completed with the white. Okay, so here's how your work should be looking. If it's pulling down a little bit, that's okay. It's gonna get yanked right back up with the next round. So continue to work this all around, and I will be right back. Come on back whenever you're ready to join. Okay, let's finish this round up. So I'm gonna go ahead and work this treble real quick. Yarn over, work the next one. Okay, work these last 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, complete it with the pink, and work 1 more treble. And now, because we straight up started with pink, that's our first stitch right there. So we will slip stitch. And actually, I probably need to, if I remember correctly, I think I need to join my slip stitch with the white. Yes. Okay, there we go. On to the next round. Okay, so now we can just hang back on the pink. This round, we're gonna work a round of single crochet. So right back into that same stitch we just joined into. Work our first single, that's 1. We're gonna work 1 single into every stitch across. And we're just gonna skip right over. We're just gonna skip, there's my first 4 single crochet. We're just gonna skip right over these little stitches here. So you just jump on over, that closes it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, skip over all of this over to the next stitch. For me, it's every white stitch. I'm just going to jump right over anything pink. There we go. And that closes everything right up. So go ahead and work your 1 round of single crochet. I will be back. And also, it fixes the curl caused by these trebles pulling. It pulls it right up. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, round 10. We're now going to work these little chunks here that go inside of the little diamond. So we're going to need to carry our pink along with us. So let's go ahead, chain 1, and work a single crochet into our joining stitch. Work another single crochet next to it, but complete that one with the pink. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Yarn over, and you will see this space right here. It's not in a stitch, it's sort of between 4 stitches, sort of like this, sort of like that, right? So right down here, hopefully you were able to see that clearly enough. We're going to work a bobble stitch. So yarn over and pull way up. Way up. Oh, I'm afraid I didn't get mine low enough. Nope, I did not work low enough. Okay. So I'm going to work it right here. Forgive me. Right here. Right there. Okay, yarn over, go into this space right here. Okay, pull up a stitch way, way, way up. That's where it should be, right there. Yarn over, we're going to yarn over and do this a total of 4 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull through once, then hold back the pink if you're changing color. Pull up the white and complete this last stitch here with the white. Carry the pink along, move your work to the side. You want 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to work in this stitch almost into the center here. So pulling off to the side, we work single crochets. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and then of course the 4th one we're going to finish with the pink. Yarn over and right down into that same spot again. Sometimes it's hard to find it. Right there. Nope. We have to be diligent about this spot. This is kind of the, there we go, right there. This is kind of the biggest pain in the butt of the pattern. Let's see if that works out. 1, 2. Does that seam off to the side? No, that's fine. 3 and 4. Pull through with the pink, hold back on the pink, pick up the white, and then complete that last stitch with the white. Push this off to the side, and we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Complete with the pink. One, telling you, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Oh boy, didn't even catch that one right. That seems like it's off to the side a bit. No, it's fine. Man, I'm gonna start that one again. I feel like I split my stitch somehow. Or I split this one down here. Not somehow, but just split it. Okay. You know, this is the reality. We don't edit this stuff out. This is the reality. Sometimes crochet is a struggle. 2 and 3. There we go. Pull through once with the pink. Hold it back and then complete that last stitch with the white. Pull it off to the side a bit. And we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this struggle would exist whether you're working with color change or not, because these are kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt. to get just right, but there you go. Okay, so work that all around. I'll be back whenever we're ready to join. Okay, let's go ahead and join. I have all of these bobbles in place. There we go. We're going to chain one and work a single crochet into our joining stitch. Work a single crochet into the next stitch over, but complete that single crochet with the new color if you're color changing. Okay, yarn over twice and into this first treble that we made, around the treble itself, go ahead and work a treble. Yarn over twice and around the next treble over going this way. Let's go ahead and work a treble, but complete it with the white if you are working the color work. There we go. And we're just going to work the 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, but of course change color. And this is going to be the repeat. There's our first little diamond made. So the repeat is very easy. We're going to work trebles on top of the trebles. We can go ahead and complete this one all the way. But again, if you are color changing, then this second one here, complete this one with the white, just like that. And then work 4 single crochet over the 4 single crochet that you see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very easy. So go ahead and work this all around, and I will be back to show you what we're going to do next. We're going to go off pattern for the next round, but I'll show you why. Okay, now for the next part. In the pattern, it wants us to work a round of single crochet. And then it wants us to work these little bobbles again. But I found, you see how these are basically touching the bottoms of the diamonds? If you work a round of single crochet first, you're going to have an obvious gap. And so what I'm going to do, show you how to do differently from the pattern, is we're just immediately going to go into the round where we work our 4 chains again. So we're not going to work that round of single crochet first. You can if you want to, but I'm telling you, it's going to leave a weird gap. Okay, so we are going to start with a single crochet into the joining stitch and a single crochet into the next stitch over. And if you are color changing, here's where you're going to complete your single crochet with your new color. And just like we did down here, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we're going to, just like we did before, just like we did before, we're going to join into the very next stitch over. We're going to skip over all this pink here and into the very next stitch over, hold back on the pink, pick up the white, and complete your single crochet with the white. And again, just like before, we are going to work into that single crochet. So make sure you don't make it too tight. Grab that pink and carry it along. So that was 1, 2, 3, and then into the 4th stitch, we complete it with the pink. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump over all of the pink and into the first white single crochet that you see there. Go ahead and complete. I forgot to hold back on that pink. Pick up that white and complete that single crochet. I feel like I stretched the stitch a little bit. Having technical difficulties. Come on now. My hands are getting a little bit tired. Made 2 of these in one day. A little bit tiring. So I'm getting a little hand fatigue. I know, here come the excuses. Well, it's true, dang it. 2, 3, and 4. Now these do look pretty opened up, but whenever we come back around with the single crochets, It's going to close it all up like that. Okay, and I meant to finish that with the pink. I'm talking too much. All right, so continue to work this all around. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I will be back whenever we are ready to join and work the next round up. We're almost done. Man, my hands are really getting tired. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, now we can go ahead and get rid of the second color. We don't need it anymore. Now we're going to work a round of single crochet. So you have your join, your chain 1, go ahead and work a single crochet, work another one, and we got to work a single crochet into the next one over right here. This is not the next one over. This one right here is. And we have to make sure that we keep the chain 4 to the front. There we go. Pull that chain 4 out. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then again, your single crochet is right here. There we go. A little bit tricky. 2, 3, and 4. And I want to pull this one out more. There we go. Okay, so just keep doing this all around and then join, chain 1, single crochet into the same stitch and work one more round of single crochet and then come on back. Okay, so there we go, 2 rounds of single crochet. Now the pattern wants us to do a reverse single crochet or a crab stitch, but I want to show you an alternate that will look almost exactly the same, and it's a little less, you don't have to like do all of this, you know, all of this number. A little bit easier. So the trick to this stitch is to keep things a little loose. So you already have your join and your chain 1. So go back into that joining stitch like a single crochet and pull up on it. Spin your hook around and pull through. If you don't keep it kind of loose, you're not going to be able to pull through. Okay, so next stitch over, pull up to keep things loose, spin, pull through. Next stitch over, pull up, spin, pull through. Next stitch, up, spin, pull through. Okay, so go ahead and work that all around, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to join this, and then we're done. Okay, so to close things off, I just worked my last stitch. We're going to join on the bottom of this stitch right here. So go ahead and join with a slip stitch, chain 1, cut and weave in all of your ends, But whenever you do pull this behind and weave it in, look at that there. It's almost seamless. It looks really nice. But that's it. Now I will show you how to work. If you do pick up this pattern, I'm going to show you how to work this stitch right here. It's essentially a cross stitch. It's Tunisian. It's really cute. Okay, so for this stitch, you're going to start off with a chain of 40, and you're going to work your forward pass and your return pass just as usual. Now, on your next forward pass, you're going to skip the next stitch. So this is your first stitch. This is your first stitch right here. You're going to skip the next stitch and into the third stitch over. Go ahead and draw up a loop in that third stitch over. Now reach back and into the second stitch that we skipped over, draw up a loop. And we're just going to repeat that over and over again with every stitch across. So we skip the very next stitch over, and in the next one after that, we draw up a loop, and then we come back and we pick up that stitch we skipped over to create a little X. Again, we're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next one over, we draw up a loop, and then we reach back and we pick up that stitch we missed. We skipped. We skip the next stitch, and in the next one over, we draw up a loop, then we come back and pick up the one we skipped. Over and over again, all the way to the end. There we go. Okay, I'm going to work this all the way to the end. I'll be right back. Okay, once you've worked your way to the end, go ahead and do your reverse pass, your return pass. So pull through one, then pull through two, and two, and two, just like normal. So this is going to be a 2-row repeat. So I will show you what we're going to do for the second row for our next forward pass, and then you're just going to repeat every time you work forward. It's going to be like that 2-row repeat, but your return pass will always be the same. Just yarn over and pull through two. Okay, now what we're going to do on this forward pass is basically the same thing. So into the very second stitch, before we started in the third stitch over, now we're going to start in the second stitch over and pull up a loop just like normal. Now skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch after that, draw up a loop, come back and pick up that one stitch we skipped. So we're going to have one simple Tunisian stitch worked like regular right here, the second stitch over, but then these two are crossed. Now we're going to continue to cross every stitch. So we only work that one simple Tunisian stitch in the second stitch over and the second to last stitch on the end. So now we're going to jump over this stitch, and in the next one over, draw up a loop, then we come back and we pick up the stitch we missed. Skip the next stitch, and in the next one over, draw up a loop, come back and pick up the one we skipped. And then just repeat that all the way to the end, work a return pass, and then work row 1 again, where you start in the third stitch. I'm sorry, where you start, yes, in the third stitch and then pick up the second stitch. Okay, there we go. I'll be right back. I'm going to work this all the way to the end, and then I'm going to work a return pass. But you can see the little design coming up now. It's like little X's. Okay, now in the next row, instead of working this stitch as a regular simple Tunisian stitch, we're going to skip it, go into the third stitch over, pull up a loop, come back and pick up that stitch we skipped, and there you go. And this is the basic 2-row repeat. Very, very easy. All return passes are the same. Very, very easy. So if you want to work that other mitten, mitten number 2, this is the stitch pattern for that mitten. And there you can see the texture, the little X's coming up. Hopefully you can see that. I have my living room light on now because I lost the sun. So there you go. Okay. I certainly do hope that you enjoyed this video, that it was helpful for you, that you got something out of it. I know I did. I got a pair of mittens out of it. In Arizona, will that do me much good? No, but you know, I've talked about a lot. I don't plan on living in Arizona forever and ever and ever. I do eventually want to live where it snows. So I just have an arsenal I'm building up with all this crochet wearables. Anyways, I love you guys lots. Thank you for joining me in today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.